By the end of the game, if there's one thing I could say to sum up my experience with Metro Exodus, it would be immersion. Metro Exodus had quite frankly cracked the code. You see, many games have attempted this idea of immersion, a personal experience which takes you through a world so intriguing and interesting, it's almost like you're living inside of it. The slow, quiet exploration of the environment, truly taking it all in as you creep around every corner, trying to scrounge up any sort of materials you can find because you know you may just need that extra medkit or some ammo. It's the quiet before the storm and a chance to really observe what the game is presenting to you. I never played a Metro game before, but it was on sale, so I thought, hey. A story about a group of people trying to find refuge outside of the Metro, that being the only habitable place they know in this post-apocalyptic nuclear winter world. But during the game, I had to think to myself, why am I so into this right now? Well, here's your answer. There's no HUD. Clean, crisp, no barrier between me and the game. All the details you need are right there on your suit to be checked at any time you see fit in the game. The map is an actual thing that you have to take out of your backpack, like in the game. It creates this very real sense of immersion knowing that every time you check the map, it's a few seconds you're not looking at the surroundings for any danger. And the map is empty. No icons, markers, or points of interest. It's up to you to go out and find these things. You fill the map. The game only gives you your main objective, but you constantly come across these abandoned houses, ships, and even caves, leaving you wondering what's inside and whether or not it's important, because that may very well just be a side mission waiting to be explored. Because in Metro Exodus, even finding things like a brighter flashlight might only be found in a secret area that you didn't even have to go into to progress the story. And trust me, later in the game, especially during the spider section underground, you're gonna wanna wish you had that extra bright flashlight, trust me. And what was the result of this? Well, I tried to find and explore absolutely everything I could possibly find in the entire map. So much so that I would even get overwhelmed and have these like mini panic attacks trying to figure out which areas I'd sectioned off to explore next. I know I'm weird, but hey. Now get this strategy of trying to get players to explore the map and compare it to those games that just give you a big ass fucking menu that pops up in your face telling you exactly where and what everything on the map is. They tell you what you get if you do those things, the requirements to even attempt those things, who you'll meet, why you're doing it, whether or not you get a cool weapon at the end, and even how long it'll take to get there. Can you see my point? And don't even get me started on the clusterfuck of icons all over the place telling you to do everything at once. Creates this very artificial style of exploration, because in other games I'll just go do a mission because I know what I'll get afterwards. But in Metro Exodus, it's organic. I went and found the little girl's teddy in the demon nest for the simple reason that she asked me to do it. And who knows, maybe something cool can come out of this. And let me tell you, almost every time, something cool actually did happen. And this is another reason why I was going around like a madman, searching everything I could find. The game was always surprising me. It was common for me to be doing something and then all of a sudden the game would surprise me with this sort of scripted organic sequence. For example, this one time I had come across this abandoned air hangar on the way to my main objective. It looked pretty interesting, so I went inside where I was met with mutants and monsters trying to kill me. Once I had cleared out the whole hangar, I got some cool supplies and was ready to head back out, not thinking much of the whole interaction. This is when I started to hear voices and car engines running outside.
Well, you fucking have it coming.
I'm like, damn, what the fuck? This is one of the characters I was just with, or like, what's going on? All of a sudden, I hear these gens shouting at me to come outside. I'm like, oh lord. So I go outside where I was essentially ambushed by a squad of bandits. And we had a shootout. And I was like, damn, was that supposed to happen? Because I just decided to come check out this random ass place and it turned into this whole random real encounter. And this happened multiple times during the game. And this is what kept me going. The fact that at any moment something might happen. And the game thrives off of not telling you any of this. Metro Exodus likes to keep its secrets secret. So much so that for most of the game, I didn't even know that there was some sort of morale system with good and bad endings. You see, some games like to tussle with the idea of good and bad using some sort of morality system. And that'll probably be something like you do good things, you get good points, and you do bad things.
I'm not going anywhere!
Whichever is high at the end of the game, that's the ending you get. Games like Red Dead Redemption 2 have a more obvious system, where choice games kind of get a little bit more complicated. But the idea of being able to craft your own adventure through choices has always been interesting. Metro Exodus doesn't tell you shit. Wait, there's choices in this game? It leaves you insecure and asking questions. Why did they give me a choice? And is this going to have a significant impact on the game? It's this weird feeling knowing that for whatever reason, the decision that you made 4 hours ago might end up playing out any second now. The perfect example of this was when I was given the choice to spare or kill this one bandit at his camp. I'd done this choice a million times before and decided to spare him for a change. Later in the game, I found a little camp shelter where I was able to refresh and get some sleep, which changes the time of day. Again, I'd found these shelters and slept a million times before, but when I woke up, there was like a whole squad of bandits right there watching me sleep. And they didn't attack me because I decided to spare that one guy earlier on. The same thing happens with characters throughout the game. The Mede ends up leaving the crew, deciding to stay and fight for his people in what I thought was this really emotional goodbye to a character that was a part of the story, until I found out it was because I killed one fucking slave. I killed one fucking slave, and now the fucking game makes you feel like you matter. And yeah, even if in the grand scheme of things it's not the most complex or intuitive system, the important part is that it makes the player expect the unexpected. It makes you feel like anything can happen. It's almost this idea that the game is aware of your presence, and this idea translates over into the more finer details of the game, like how you can choose to holster your weapons and NPCs will be conscious of this, which might result in a different response. And like how I couldn't help but think that because I had decided to go fetch the guitar, I was able to have this really intimate interaction on the train with Katya and Stefan. I felt that I had almost earned that moment, even if I had absolutely nothing to do with it at all. Your guns get dirty, meaning you have to clean them. You have to put your mask on, but also know when to take it off so that you don't waste your air filters. These run out and beep when they're almost finished. Oh, and the mask can also get damaged, which means you have to seal it with tape and then repair it later at the workbench. You can wipe your mask when it gets dirty, you use lighters to get rid of spider webs, you have to charge your flashlight, craft ammo, and even upgrade your weapons part by part. One of the actually quite frustrating but really cool parts of the game was this one time where I was on the way to explore something when I was caught in this huge sandstorm, and it made it hard to see and shit, and I couldn't really breathe because I was like you know, so I had to put on my mask. But then I realized that I had ran out of air filters and I didn't have enough resources to craft another, and I had already saved just before, meaning I couldn't go back to my last checkpoint. So I was forced to take shelter in this bandit den and quite literally wait out the entire sandstorm, like in real time, like in real life, waiting for like 15-20 minutes in real life for the storm to stop so that I could go back outside again. It was crazy, and I was mad, but it was also really cool, you know, like how I had to suffer the consequences of my own actions by not having any air filters ready for me to use. Metro Exodus had succeeded so many times in convincing me that the world was a functional, reactive, and rich place full of so many surprises and mysteries. I wanted to explore. I wanted to find things. I wanted to be a part of the story. And this was probably the reason why I spoke to every character when I had the chance, did every side quest, and found as much weapons, resources, and upgrades that I could. I was happy to be there, not knowing what the game had in store. It had worked its magic, and quite frankly, I had just come along for the ride.